Happening now, the latest on Jamestown Police's crackdown of illicit drugs in city streets. And lake cleanup criticism. We hear from residents questioning the county's proposed plan. Plus, a county-wide campaign to raise money for a Jamestown soup kitchen comes to an end. A look at how much funding was raised and how much good that money is poised to do.
Live and on demand, this is WNY News Now.
Thank you for joining us for WNY News Now. I'm Justin Gould. Those stories and more are coming up. But first, 3 Jamestown residents were arrested following a drug raid on Wednesday. The Jamestown Metro Drug Task Force executed a search warrant at 728 East 7th Street around 1 in the afternoon. Inside that address, police allegedly recovered 11 grams of fentanyl, 57 grams of crack cocaine, and cash. Ashley Ann Marie Lopez, Angel Cruz, Zuika Michelle Fuentes Cruz were all taken into custody and charged with criminal possession of a controlled substance. Police additionally said that 3 children were located inside of that house at the time of their arrest. Anyone with information about the illegal drug activity is asked to contact Jamestown Police's tip line. That number is 716-483-8477. And on Wednesday, the U.S. Attorney's Office announced a grand jury has indicted 4 Jamestown residents in a federal drug probe. 53-year-old Roberto Morales Sanchez, 36-year-old Ryan Bloom, 36-year-old Rochelle Allison, and 30-year-old Katie Camilleri were indicted on narcotics conspiracy charges. According to prosecutors, between 2019 and 2021, the 4 allegedly conspired to sell heroin, methamphetamine, and fentanyl in and around the Jamestown area. That group is also accused of using residences on Fairview Avenue and Willis Street here in Jamestown to sell their drugs. All charges carry a minimum penalty of 10 years in prison and a maximum of life. Plans to clean and protect Chautauqua Lake are drawing some criticism from those in the community. The Chautauqua Lake Protection and Rehabilitation Agency held a public information hearing last night to gather input from property owners regarding the project. Potential sources of funding were discussed at that meeting with the ultimate goal of being able to maintain a clean attraction for residents and tourists to enjoy. Many in attendance at the meeting suggested a countywide tax go towards the preservation effort. Consultants, however, proposed taxing parcels within the lake's watershed. This, in combination with the lack of representation, upset several residents in attendance.
How many of those people live on the lake that are considering taxing us? I do. One person. One person.
Are you in the watershed, sir? Is that what you're not on the lake?
I think the people on the lake and the people in the watershed should be the people voting, not somebody in the legislature or you guys up in Buffalo.
Thanks to, in part, a large turnout at last night's forum, organizers are planning to hold another meeting to hear from the public come November. Well, a newly revamped program is teaching teens across Chautauqua County the importance of financial responsibility, giving them firsthand experience in real-world scenarios like getting a job and a mortgage. Our Alyssa Wright reports.
Hosted by the Chautauqua Safety Village, the Taste of Independence program is bringing teens from all across our region to the Safety Village in Asheville, where they learn what it's like to be an adult for a day.
There have to be people willing, like the 2 people to my left are, to get involved and have people like Jim and people in these agencies. This takes a lot of work. I mean, and there are kids in the community that need all of our help. And I think we're starting to move the needle a little bit as far as like with folks like this coming aboard and starting to collaborate. Nobody can do it alone. We have to work together. And it's to benefit the best prize of all, which are kids.
The teens participate in mock interviews, receive paychecks, set up a bank account, and even buy a house.
Fake debit cards, they swipe it out, all the stations, the money comes out. It's like a little home banking site on their smartphones so that the kids are really getting an idea of what it's like to use that.
The program is all about making real-life decisions and figuring out how to deal with the consequences.
It's to provide the opportunity to kids to, show them what life's like after high school, pre-high school, into high school, and then after high school, and then, making the right decisions. And like John said, to avoid some pitfalls, but if you do, that's okay. We're going to show you ways out of that too.
The program will branch out to several school districts this fall in hopes to provide even more teenagers with financial knowledge. Alyssa Wright, WNY News Now.
Alyssa, thank you. Certainly a great program for those students there. Well, now let's get a first check of our weather forecast. Chief Forecaster Dakota Hunter joining us live with that, and a beautiful look there over Chautauqua Lake today. And one of the big things I've noticed over the last couple of days, Dakota, is the stickiness has really disappeared. And yesterday almost called me crazy. I was almost a little cold with the wind.
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Yes, all that stickiness is finally out of here. It's hit a home run out of here, and we're not going to see that for a while. But as Justin mentioned, beautiful day over Chautauqua Lake. So if you do want to get out on the lake today, fantastic, either Chautauqua Lake or Lake Erie. But it is a bit breezy today. You can see some of the choppiness on the water. So be aware of that if you do have a small craft. It will be a little bit breezy, so just watch for that. But nothing showing up on the satellite and radar composite. A lot of the clouds are further down to our south. Now, we do have a small chance for at least an isolated shower through the afternoon. The rain chance today is at about a 20 to 25% chance in areas. So, most everybody will stay dry, but don't be surprised if you do feel a little sprinkle. But most everybody should stay dry through the afternoon hours. 75 was the high yesterday, started the day at 53, 95, and 45 are the record. So partly to mostly sunny through the afternoon. There's that isolated shower or sprinkle chance, but much more comfortable. 72 to 79, and there's your breezy northwest wind. Now, meteor shower peaks tonight, plus a lot of events happening on Friday. We'll break it all down with the Ultimate Satellite Solution 7-Day later in the show, Justin.
All righty, Dakota, lots of people will be glued to that. Thank you, sir. As we continue, the latest laws here in New York that aim to crack down on anti-Semitic views. And later, the push to update immunizations before school begins. Stay with us. WNY News Now is back right after this.
You're watching WNY News Now, your source for breaking news.
Looking for a fair and honest auto mechanic? Look no further than DeWyas Auto Service. Located at 140 Main Street in Randolph, our family-owned business is ready for all of your automotive needs. From general service to more complex repairs, count on DeWyas Auto to keep you on the road. We not only keep your cars running smoothly, but also looking great with our expert detailing crew. Send us a message on Facebook or call us today at 716-358-2292 to set up an appointment. DeWyas Auto Service. Fair, honest, and the best prices guaranteed.
EagleZip.com is your local one-stop shop for all of your home and business computer needs. Located on Fluvan Avenue Extension, just outside of Jamestown, EagleZip.com sells and services all brands of desktops and laptops, as well as servers and network equipment for your business. All new computer sales include transferring your data from your old computer, plus a 2-year warranty. Call EagleZip.com today.
Stop by EagleZip.com today and let us make computers easy for you.
When severe weather breaks, one team has you covered, tracking the storms as they happen. Catch your First Defense forecast daily on WNY News Now.
Two convenient conservatives are on the ballot for the Republican primary for Congress. Neither live in our district. I'm Rich Moon, vying for your vote in New York's 23rd congressional race. Growing up, I lived in Hinsdale while working as a pharmacist in Wellsville. I'm proud to have raised my kids in the Jamestown area. Keep your voice in Washington local. Write in Rich Moon when you vote for both the GOP primary and the special election. Write in Rich Moon for Congress.
Hey ladies, are you looking for a fun night out on the town this fall? We have the event for you. Join Collaborative Children's Solutions as we celebrate the women of our community during a special Ladies Red Carpet Gala. Grab your friends and fanciest clothes for a night of dancing at the Northwestern Arena in Jamestown, New York. There will be dessert and a cash bar. All proceeds directly benefit Collaborative Children's Solutions. Learn more at ccsolutions716.com.
With coverage that matters, this is WNY News Now.
New York State has issued a scam warning for students either starting or returning to college campuses this fall. The state says the best way for college students to avoid textbook, scholarship, or rental scams is to be informed. The state also says that students' new independence makes them a target for scammers. With all of this in mind, several tips to remain protected include keeping all personal information private, practice online safety, and doing your own research, especially when it comes to credit cards. And even though the Holocaust ended over 70 years ago, the anti-Semitic views that have gave a rise to horrific violence is still alive and well today. Leaders in New York State say that remembering the 6 million lives lost is not enough, and that we must eradicate the prejudice altogether. Our Julia Gress reports.
Still targeting Jews across the world, and yes, in our own state, because we've had 570 anti-Semitic crimes perpetrated against Jewish New Yorkers this year.
According to Governor Kathy Hochul, 22% of American Jews are afraid to wear emblems of their religion in fear that it will make them the target of a crime. With New York containing the largest population of Jewish people outside of Israel, Hochul believes it is imperative to establish a system that protects the vulnerable. So far, Hochul has provided $43 million in funding for security and $25 million for safety in institutions such as yeshivas and synagogues.
We're also strengthening the laws that are on the books against those who commit heinous crimes, to be more accountable. That is something we did when we addressed the bail reform of the bail reform in our last budget.
Wednesday, Hochul signed in legislation to honor and support Holocaust survivors in educational, cultural, and financial institutions. This includes a law to ensure that the 1994 mandate of teaching about the Holocaust in schools is being upheld to make sure that we can learn from past mistakes.
Ask the question, what are you really doing? How much are you sharing? What grades? How much? How is the testing going? Are you sure this is penetrating the minds of our young people?
The governor also claims she is working to address social media algorithms that feed radicalization by pushing out more content the more users seek it.
Also, I have 2 more bills I'll be signing today to help us never forget. One is that the crimes committed during the Holocaust and survivors who are still with us today. One is making sure that museums, New York museums, now think about this, that they have to prominently post along the side of artworks that were stolen during the Nazi era in Europe. They have to give credit. They didn't go buy these somewhere. These were stolen. They're stolen from people who are the rightful owners during this reign of terror.
Julia Gress, WNY News Now.
Julia, thank you. The state is also providing funding for counties to put together their own response to domestic terrorism to stop the spread of hate locally. And this week, officials are reminding parents to make sure their children are up to date with immunizations before the start of the approaching school year. Vaccines for tetanus and polio, measles, mumps, and rubella, hepatitis B, and chickenpox are required by all grades ahead of the first day at school. Additional doses for tetanus and meningococcal conjunctivitis vaccine, or MCV, are required for attendance in 7th grade. For students starting 12th grade, an additional MCV is also required for attendance. Officials say there are medical and religious exemptions to the vaccines, but most importantly, to check with your doctor to see what immunizations your child may need to receive.
So we encourage all parents in Pennsylvania with school-aged children to call their primary care provider or visit a vaccine clinic as soon as they can so their children can start the new year off without a hitch.
Now, COVID-19 vaccines are not mandatory, but officials are strongly encouraging them for children 5 years and older ahead of the school year. Well, the Warren County Fair is in full swing, and a major aspect of the gathering is to celebrate agriculture and local kids who partake in raising animals for the annual 4-H show. Now, we're hearing from cow experts about why they like raising the livestock and why dairy education is so important.
Working with them, getting them ready, making them your friend, that's my favorite part. And it's just fun. I don't really come for the competition. I just come to enjoy it, really.
Cool.
It's to educate our younger generation about dairy cows and really teach them what it is and what they are, because a lot of kids don't even know where their milk comes from. It just comes from a store.
Most people should probably drink a lot of it because it's just good for your body and it's good for your health.
Now, if you'd like to head down and visit those cows yourself, the fair is open through Sunday. Certainly so much work goes into those 4-H programs. Those kids definitely deserve the recognition. Well, coming up, federal support for U.S. vets suffering with the impacts of toxic burn pits has been officially signed into law. And later, a big fundraiser for Jamestown's only soup kitchen now wrapping up. A look at the good your donations are doing. But first, when we return, a full look at our weather forecast.
You're watching WNY News Now, where coverage comes first.
While I appreciate anyone who wants to run for office and help others, we deserve to be represented by a local candidate. I'm Rich Moon, running for New York's 23rd congressional seat. I grew up in Erie County, worked in Wellsville, raised my kids in Jamestown. We need to keep our voice in Washington local. There are 2 absentee opportunists on the ballot for the Republican primary. They don't actually live here. That's why I need your vote. Write in Rich Moon for Congress for both the GOP primary and special election. We deserve local representation.
Calling all teachers. Get your year started off right with an evening with Gary Brooks. Come see Gary as he shares his funniest school stories and strategies to build a positive school culture. Go to reginalda.com for tickets and more information.
Stay fire safe this summer. Only use grills outdoors, away from siding and deck railings. Clean grills often and remove grease or fat buildup. Make sure your gas grill lid is open before lighting. Have a 3-foot safe zone around grills and campfires. Keep kids and pets clear of the area. Dispose of coals after they cool in a metal can. Never leave grills, fire pits, and patio torches unattended. Learn more at usfa.fema.gov.
Brought to you by the Chautauqua Safety Village and the Jamestown Fire Department.
I'm a survivor. I'm a survivor. I'm a survivor.
Testicular cancer is the leading form of cancer in men aged 15 to 35.
1 in 250 men will be diagnosed with testicular cancer.
But 98% will survive if detected early.
As a survivor, I believe early detection is the key. Learn how to do a testicular self-exam and other important facts about testicular cancer at oneball4tc.com.
You're watching WNY News Now, your source for breaking news.
Fast, accurate, and everyday. First Defense Weather.
Well, welcome back, everybody, and wanted to give you a look at the rainfall because, believe it or not, we still do need some rain around here. Our seasonal rain total now is at 5.89 inches. That's over 4 inches below normal to where we should be for the season, and it doesn't look like we're going to see any rain around here for at least a couple of days. Again, as we mentioned, that isolated shower chance today, no rain tomorrow and Saturday, so 2 fantastic days. But as we go into the later half of the weekend and into early next week, we are going to see some rain returning. The Perseid meteor shower peaks tonight and all the way through the 13th. And as we mentioned, the problem is going to be because we have a full moon. So because we have a full moon, the moonlight is ultimately going to limit how many meteors you're going to see. So you're not going to see 100 meteors an hour. You're probably going to see somewhere around 15 to 20. I think that's more, that's kind of more on the realistic scale, given the fact that the full moon also happens during the peak of the meteor shower. We're at 70 right now as of noon hour, a northwest wind of 9 bringing in that cooler air, but look at the dew point. 49, that's dry air, and it is just fantastic. So Friday, as we mentioned, lots of events happening. Of course, we have the Jamestown Cruise-In Car Show here in downtown Jamestown tomorrow. Look at this forecast, 73, 71, 67, lots of sunshine with a north wind. just fantastic. You couldn't ask for any better weather. And of course, one of my favorites, we have the tractor pull at the Warren County Fair tomorrow night. And just, again, fantastic weather. 73 down to 67. The tractor pull might linger after midnight. Obviously, depends on conditions and if anybody blows a motor or the whole tractor explodes. I've seen that before. The whole engine comes out of the tractor. So we have a cold front coming across the region right now, but we are ultimately going to see waves of low pressure throughout much of next week. That is going to give us the rain chances. So here's the newest Runner Future Scan here. Notice how the modeling is showing those little isolated showers possibly developing this evening. No guarantee they will, but that's why we put the rain chance at a 20% because it is possible you could see something. We clear out through the overnight hours tomorrow. Fantastic. We may see a few high clouds, but other than that, bright sunshine, clear skies Friday night, again, for the tractor pull and for anything you want to do outdoors Friday night. And then we'll keep it going into Saturday. And you'll see it here in the future, powered by Ultimate Satellite Solutions. So 77.
If you don't trip over a camera, jeez.
Yeah,
okay?
We'll have to pull the security footage on that. My. 74 Sunday. Scattered rain chances continue, Justin, through mid next week.
Oh, gosh. Dakota, you backed right into that. Oh, boy.
Whoops.
Thank you very much. Well, hey. No, I think we're good. Bronson's checking it out. Okay, read the script. Here's some good news for your commute. The national average for a gallon of regular gas now below $4 for the first time in months. AAA telling us that it's now $3.99 as of today. The price topped $5, remember, back in June. AAA says demand for gas has been decreasing because people don't want to pay for those higher prices. And the Internal Revenue Service is being warned against using funds from the Inflation Reduction Act to audit households that make less than $400,000 a year. That's according to a letter Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen sent to the IRS's commissioner. In the letter, the money allocated from the new health care and climate bill should focus on, quote, high-end non-compliance. Republican critics of the $80 billion act say it will allow the IRS to target middle-class families and small businesses. The new funds for the IRS are expected to collect $124 billion in tax revenue over the next decade. The legislation was approved by the Senate this week, but still needs to get through the Democratic-led House. And it's a sigh of relief for millions of veterans and their families. President Biden signing into law the PACT Act, legislation that expands health care benefits to veterans exposed to toxic burn pits during their military service. Many of them now living with a variety of health conditions. Ivan Rodriguez has the latest from Washington.
For Brielle Robinson and her family, the signing of the PACT Act is filled with emotion.
That's my grandson. His daddy lost to the same burn pits, and he knows what you're going through. But guess what? You're going to do this. You're going to be really, really strong. And it's hard taking care of mommy and a grandma, but you got to do it.
Robinson is the daughter of the law's namesake, Sergeant First Class Heath Robinson. He died from cancer at 39 years old, but thanks to Brielle, his story isn't forgotten.
To have had Brielle, in her father's honor, walk the hills of Congress and drop off PACT Act messages in Crayola crayons, in writing, by her own little colors that she had with her, was just inspiring and amazing.
The law could expand benefits for up to 3.5 million veterans by adding health conditions linked to toxic burn pits to the Department of Veterans Affairs list of illnesses. Burn pits were used to burn waste, including hazardous material, at military sites throughout Iraq and Afghanistan until about 2010.
My husband attempted to take his life a few years ago when he lost his job and almost lost our home. To know that 3.5 million people, just to know that they'll be helped and they won't have to be begging for help, it just really gives my heart a lot of peace.
I'm Ivan Rodriguez reporting.
Next, a county-wide campaign to raise money for a Jamestown soup kitchen coming to an end. A look at how much funding was raised and how much good that money is poised to do.
Catch your First Defense forecast daily on WNY News Now.
I'm in this race because I love our region, its people, and all we do. Hi, Rich Moon here. I'm not someone who has come late to this game using political muscle or a large bank account to manipulate the electorate. I'm running for New York's 23rd congressional seat to keep our priorities local. Growing up in Erie County, working in Wellsville, raising my kids in Jamestown, this is my home. When voting this month, write down Rich Moon for Congress to ensure local representation for both the GOP primary and the special election.
I'm a survivor. I'm a survivor. I'm a survivor.
Testicular cancer is the leading form of cancer in men aged 15 to 35.
1 in 250 men will be diagnosed with testicular cancer.
But 98% will survive if detected early.
As a survivor, I believe early detection is the key. Learn how to do a testicular self-exam and other important facts about testicular cancer at oneball4tc.com.
Slow down, and move over.
Move over.
When you see signs,
Lights, vests,
Please, give us some room.
slow down.
Slow down and move over.
When you need help,
It's our job
to help you.
to save you.
Despite the danger,
This danger.
This danger is real.
do your part.
Please,
Slow down, and move over.
move over.
You're watching WNY News Now, your source for breaking news.
A months-long campaign to raise money for Jamestown's St. Susan Center concluded today, raising over $26,000 to help fund the soup kitchen. Our Bronson Rasmussen reports on the good things this fundraiser is credited with providing. He joins us live now in studio with more, and it's a laundry list of amazing services for our community.
That's right, Justin. Kicking off earlier in the year, the Sense for St. Susan's campaign is one of their major fundraisers for the year. As Executive Director Sherry Rowland tells us, it attempts to raise money through community support that helps fund operations.
It will be used for feeding over 30,000 people this year. It will be used to for operating expenses as well as buying food.
Rowland goes on to say that the soup kitchen does more than just provide meals. It is also a place for human connection.
St. Susan's not only feeds folks, we provide that human contact, community, and that's almost just as important as having a nourishing meal, is having human contact.
While no goal has been set for this year's campaign, numbers were a little lower compared to last year. Over the past 2 decades, the community has raised more than $300,000 in this event alone.
It started out as a food drive, and I believe they raised about $6,000. So every year it's just grown and grown.
BPU Communications Coordinator Becky Robbins touts many reasons for the event's success, some of which are their sponsors, community giveback, and help from the media.
We put canisters out, like about 50 of them, I think, and those brought in about $2,000, which was very, very generous. And we did urge people to collect bottles and cans, redeemable containers. We didn't do as much in that this year, but still raised $200 for that. And at the BPU, I had asked different people to come that were included, but that worked on the hot dog sale. And we raised over $700 for that.
Since the campaign started in 2000, the drive has now earned a total of over $306,000.
Yeah, that's so impressive, Bronson. And just to think about that figure of what they said, $3,000 came from those canisters that were out in the community. That's from everyday folks. And you talk about every cent matters in that aspect. It really does, and does a lot of good there too. So I know that St. Susan's has a lot of other awesome fundraisers coming up too. So if you didn't get a chance to donate in this, if you head over to their social media and website, you can learn more information there. Bronson, thank you very much for turning that story around in like an hour's time today? Pretty much.
About, I think they met there around 9.
Yeah, okay, a couple hours. But you had other things to do, so. And like fixing your camera after Dakota stumbled over it. Are you okay? I mean,
I am fine.
Okay, I shouldn't have laughed. I felt bad when I laughed out loud, but just the look on your face. Meanwhile, the camera now is like sideways.
Well, you see, the problem is we
not
as
that
weather
big
people,
in here.
we back off the wall.
Yep.
And we have a lot of stuff in the studio that is near the green wall.
And it moves too,
And-
by the way, depending on
so,
what is set up for what.
Everything is kind of in a different spot every day. And sometimes you just back into things. And it just happened to be the
We're
camera
going to get
that
you
I
a
backed
beeper
into
and a
today.
backup camera, okay?
Yeah, beep, 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 beep.
That's it for us today. We're back tomorrow. Have a great day.